Making landfall in southwest Louisiana. We are very confident the eye is coming in east of the border, and southeast Texas will be spared significant impacts. In fact, Beaumont might even dodge the worst of the eye wall, but it's not something you want to tangle with the maximum sustained winds at 150 miles per hour. The barometric pressure is below 940 millibars, but it has come up just a little bit. We think that Laura has hit peak strength, but it will go down as the strongest hurricane on record to make landfall along this part of the U.S. Gulf Coast here in southwest Louisiana. There is the
Hurricane Laura struck southwest Louisiana in August 2022 when the world was already dealing with a global pandemic and an upcoming election. While most residents did not take the hurricane seriously at first, since hurricane warnings are not uncommon in Louisiana, it quickly became apparent that this hurricane was going to be different. Hurricane Laura would permanently change the Lake Charles community, and the residents create stories, merchandise, and art to commemorate their experiences.
I didn't really feel that much about it because, we always get hurricanes. I didn't know it was going to be as big as it was, so I was just like, oh, it's whatever, until, it actually became something. So we boarded our house up and then left for, the DFW area because my grandparents live in Denton. So we stayed there for, a week. We came back, and that was when Hurricane Delta hit, so then we left again.
Okay, so Hurricane Laura. We evacuated to an Airbnb in Katy, Texas, and we were there for 5 days. We left Katy, Texas to go to a hotel room that we had booked in Lafayette, which that hotel was overbooked, so we did not have a room. And Aunt Michelle booked us an Airbnb in Hammond, Louisiana. No, I'm sorry, in Houma, Louisiana. So we headed to Houma. And the Airbnb did not exist. It was a fraudulent Airbnb listing. So I just started driving east towards Alabama while she was trying to find us a place to stay. And she found us a hotel room in Hammond, Louisiana. So we went to Hammond and stayed there for 2 days. So in one day, we went from Katy, Texas, stopped at the house in Lake Charles, went to Lafayette, went down to Houma, and ended up in Hammond. Then from Hammond, after 2 days, we headed back to Houston, where we had a hotel room for a week. And then Max and Catherine headed to Abilene to stay with Aunt Michelle.
Oh, thankfully, I think the only damage we had was shingles, and then also a tree branch hit the back of it, and our house is made of wood. And so, there was, a dent in the wall for a while, but there was no, big major damage.
The damages to our home, the roof structure above the master bedroom, including the framing and the decking for the attic, were completely ripped off. So insulation and everything had collapsed. The drywall for the ceiling had collapsed down into the room. So the master bedroom was filled, everything was wet. There was nothing that was not saturated because that part of the roof structure was gone. Wind and rain had come through the rest of the attic and gone down into the house. So about 70% of our drywall had to be removed, ceiling and walls. All insulation in the house had to be removed. A complete new roof structure from framing, decking, all had to be redone. The whole exterior of the home had to be redone. Returning to Lake Charles was heartbreaking. It was very hard as a mom to not show how extremely just devastated I was, not knowing how we were going to come back from this quickly and not wanting my kids to feel insecure or concerned for me. The town, I had been through Hurricane Rita, and we thought Hurricane Rita was bad, but this was just, it's still, to think about it, is unbelievable. Just the amount of destruction was something that I had seen pictures of before we got here, but it was hard to even wrap my mind around. Ben Terry was our local meteorologist who was just an amazing, funny person. Very intelligent, but extremely funny. When he was telling people on social media you need to get out. You need to evacuate for Laura. This is not something you want to try to ride out. You've got to get out. And one person posted on the KPLC page, when did it become a meteorologist's job to incite panic in people? And basically she was saying she didn't think he should be talking that way. And he responded with, change the channel then, which was iconic. The Thanksgiving after the storm passed, Ben Terry found out that his colon cancer had returned. And he fought a good, long battle. And unfortunately, we lost him this last year. The Capital One building and its glass. The amount of glass that was blown out of the Capital One building attracted people, including myself, who went and gathered pieces of the broken glass. A lot of local artisans made necklaces and other jewelry pieces. They made crosses. They made little designs of the state of Louisiana and sold these items, which helped, bolster their income. The main artisan locally who is still doing crafts with the Capital One glass is Candace Alexander. Recently, she has started making rosaries with beads made from the glass from the Capital One building.
While the Capital One building was imploded earlier this year and most of the damage done from the hurricane has been repaired, Hurricane Laura has made a lasting impact on Lake Charles as a city and its residents.